The stage is set and the curtains rise, but something lingers in the shadows. A sudden chill grips the air, because London's grand theaters are more than just homes to legendary performances. They are haunted by those who never took their final bow. Phantom figures roam the balconies, unseen hands move props, and eerie laughter fills the wings. So, let's dive into the theater where the audience watches the living, but who is watching them? When the lights dim, the actual performance begins, and some spirits never leave. Theaters are strange places. When the lights go out, the stage doesn't feel empty, it feels watched. London's West End is crawling with ghost stories, but His Majesty's Theatre is in a league of its own. His Majesty's Theatre has had many owners, but one refuses to leave. Herbert Burholm Tree, who built the current theater in 1897, lived there. He had an apartment inside the dome. When he died in 1917, his body left, but his presence didn't. Actors have seen someone sitting in the top corner box during rehearsals, a dark figure watching silently. That's where Tree used to sit. Doors slam, whispers echo in empty hallways, and cold hands seem to brush past performers backstage. A fireman once struggled to close the stage door, feeling something push against him. Looking up, he saw a tall, Victorian-dressed figure staring at him with unsettling stillness. Its presence sending a shiver down his spine before it slowly faded into the shadows. Comedian Tommy Cooper died on stage at His Majesty's Theatre in 1984. A live audience laughed, thinking his collapse was part of the act. It wasn't. He suffered a fatal heart attack and was carried into the props room where he died. Since then, that room has been cursed. Props fly off shelves. Plastic apples roll across the floor like someone or something is throwing them. Crew members hear laughter when no one is around. Some refuse to enter alone. Others swear they feel someone in there with them, watching from the shadows. His Majesty's Theatre is home to the Phantom of the Opera. But what if the story isn't just fiction? Actors have seen someone sitting in box 5, the Phantom's box. The problem? No tickets were sold for that seat. One actress saw the man dressed as a character from the show. She turned to speak to him, but when she looked back, he was gone. Ellen Jackson, a longtime performer, felt something whisper her name as she crossed the stage. She ignored it until it happened again. One night in room 94, she suddenly ducked, feeling like something was about to hit her. A second later, a wig flew off a mannequin nearby. There was no one else in the room. People just don't perform at His Majesty's Theatre, they stay. Footsteps echo above the stage when no one is there. Actors see shadowy figures darting between curtains. Some feel cold hands grip their shoulders in the dark. Maybe it's just superstition. Perhaps it's not. Either way, the theater isn't empty when the curtain falls and the audience leaves. It never is. Starting with the Garrick Theatre, which is home to a ghostly figure who refuses to leave. Arthur Bourchier, a former manager from the early 1900s, is said to haunt the theater staircase. Many have heard his footsteps echoing up and down, even when no one is there. In the 1900s, builders renovating the theater reported seeing a shadowy figure watching them. Tools would go missing and later reappear in strange places. Some believe Bourchier was making his presence known. Actors have also felt something eerie, a cold breath on their necks, a strange feeling of being watched. Even after all these years, Bourchier never left. Meanwhile, at the Old Vic Theatre, a ghostly woman appears. Her hands are covered in blood as she clutches her chest. But the blood isn't real, it's just makeup. Many believe she was an actress, stuck in her final scene forever. She never leaves the stage, never takes a bow. People who see her feel a deep sadness, as if she is trapped in time. Why is she still here? What story is she trying to tell? When you thought things couldn't get any scarier, the upcoming story will change your mind. Theatre Royal Drury Lane has stood for over 350 years, making it one of London's most haunted theatres. With such a long history, it's no surprise that ghostly figures are said to roam its halls. The most famous of them all is the man in grey, dressed in a powdered wig, grey cloak, and three-cornered hat. He has been seen by entire casts of actors. His presence is unusual. He only appears during the day, moving from one side of the upper circle to the other before disappearing into a wall. The true identity of this ghost is unknown, but a discovery in the 1870s added to the mystery. During renovations, builders found a hidden room behind the wall he vanished into. Inside was a skeleton, stabbed to death and wrapped in grey cloth. Despite the grim discovery, the man in grey is seen as a good omen. His presence is believed to signal a successful production. But he isn't the only spirit lingering at Drury Lane. The legendary Joseph Grimaldi, the father of modern clowning, is another famous ghost. Known for Revolution pantomime, he has been linked to the theater for years. His ghost isn't frightening. Instead, it's mischievous. Actors and staff have reported feeling a sudden comedic kick, when least expected, as if Grimaldi himself is helping them perfect their performance. No one was there. For those who were there, the kicks felt too real to ignore. Some have also claimed to see a floating white clown face in the wings, possibly connected to his unusual burial request to be buried with his head removed from his body. Another spirit tied to the theater is Dan Leno, the famous pantomime dame and comedian. His ghostly presence adds to the long list of spectral figures that make Drury Lane one of London's most haunted theaters. But in the chilling world of London theater ghost legends, the Lyceum Theatre is one of many stages where the dead still perform. It also holds one of London's most unsettling ghost stories, which is very famous. Back in 1880, when Henry Irving and Ellen Terry dominated the stage, something terrifying happened there. It left everyone in shock. A couple was seated on the theater's balcony one evening when both noticed something strange, a severed head resting in a woman's lap in the stalls below. At first, they didn't understand what they were seeing, but soon after they realized. The head appeared looking straight upward, but the woman holding it seemed utterly unaware of the situation. Maybe it was just an illusion, a trick of the dim theater lights, or perhaps someone real, lingering where they shouldn't be. Though the Lyceum is better known today for its grand productions, whispers of this ghostly encounter continue circulating, adding to the theater's eerie past. If you find this interesting, don't forget to like and subscribe to the channel for more videos. Next is the Fortune Theater. Since 1989, actors and staff have reported chilling encounters that blurred the line between performance and paranormal. Actor Sebastian Harcourt saw two figures standing in the wings during a show. One was his co-star, and the other was something else. A shadowy woman in black, silent and unmoving, watched from the darkness before vanishing. She's not confined to the stage. Box office employees have spotted a woman dressed in black lingering at the theater bar, her presence unsettling, yet undeniable. The actresses who played the character often reveal that they had felt something unseen beside them on stage. But the Adelphi Theatre holds one of London's most chilling stories ever. In 1897, William Terriss, a successful actor-manager starring in Secret Service, met a violent end just outside the theater stage door on Maiden Lane. As he arrived that evening, he was suddenly attacked and stabbed by a struggling actor driven by jealousy. Terriss collapsed, wounded, and was comforted in his final moments by his leading lady, Jessica Millward. He uttered a haunting promise with his last breath, "I will be back." Since that night, strange happenings have been reported at the Adelphi. There were many odd voices. In the theater Royal Haymarket, a well-known figure in the mid-1800s, Buckstone was a friend of Charles Dickens and played a key role in shaping the theater's success. Even after his death, he doesn't seem to have left. Actors and staff have seen and heard strange signs of his lingering presence. Some report being watched, while others claim to hear faint footsteps and whispers when the theater is empty. Despite the eerie encounters, Buckstone's ghost isn't known to be malicious. If anything, his presence suggests an enduring connection to the theater he once led. Whether he remains to watch over the stage or refuses to let go of his old life, his spirit has become a permanent part of Haymarket's history. The Dominion Theatre stands on the ground soaked in tragedy. Long before its opening in 1928, the site was home to a brewery, the scene of one of London's strangest and most horrifying disasters, the London beer flood of 1814. When a massive vat of beer ruptured, a tidal wave of alcohol surged through the streets, destroying buildings and drowning 8 people. Among the victims was 14-year-old Eleanor Cooper, a young servant caught in the flood's deadly path. But death did not silence Eleanor. From the moment the Dominion Theatre opened, eerie reports began to surface. Shadows flicker in the empty auditorium. A child's laughter echoes through the darkness when no one is there. Some say she appears as a pale, ghostly figure, sitting alone in the seats, hands folded in her lap, her giggles carrying through the air. Staff members have reported an unsettling presence, a whisper of movement beyond their sight. Others claim they have heard soft footsteps running along the aisles, only to find the theater empty. Those who dare to approach the seats where she's been seen often feel a sudden chill as if something unseen has brushed past them. No one knows why Eleanor lingers here. Is she reliving her final moments, trapped in a place built over the site of her tragic death? Or is she simply watching, waiting, laughing at something only the dead can see? Last but not least, the Duke of York's theater has seen its fair share of performances, but none as chilling as what happened in the 1940s. A Victorian jacket stored backstage seemed cursed. Every actress who wore it found themselves gasping for air as an unseen force tried to strangle them. Terrified, the theater held a seance, only to uncover a horrifying truth. The jacket belonged to a woman who drowned, her restless spirit clinging to the fabric, desperate for revenge. But that's not the only ghost lurking here. The former theater manager, Violet Melnott, still watches over the stage, blending in with first-night audiences. Actors have reported seeing a woman in old-fashioned clothing seated among the guests, only for her to vanish moments later. Echoes of the past haunt some places. This one, it's haunted by something far more sinister. The curtain may fall, but the spirits never leave. Stay alert, stay curious, and remember, not all ghosts are trapped in the past. The line between legend and reality is thinner than you think. Have you ever felt something watching when no one was there? Let us know in the comments. And if you crave more tales from the dark, stay with us. Many more horrifying secrets are waiting to be uncovered if you dare. So, like and subscribe to the channel for more horrifying stuff. See you soon.